Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic, now full-time energy healer, author, and your resident science meets spirit nerd.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch, teacher of the craft, and owner of not one, not two, but 3 metaphysical businesses.
Together we dig into low-effort witchcraft, spirituality, and the science that backs it all up, all with humor, heart, and a sprinkle of chaos.
So whether you're a curious skeptic or a seasoned witch, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic.
Howdy doody, friends.
Howdy, howdy.
Doody doody.
We are here for the final episode of our Greek Pantheon series. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I feel like I've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot of things about myself and about the Greek Pantheon. And I'm excited to tie this up in a cute little bow, put it on a shelf, and hyper-focus on it for the next 6 to 8 business months.
And I can't wait to hear about it as you go.
And just a reminder, if you have not wandered over to our Patreon yet, we did make in the Clubhouse a Know Your Gods section for each episode of this series that has all of the correspondences and all the information, all of the notes organized in a sweet little Notion document for you. So if you don't want to take notes, we get it. You can join our Patreon and get access to all of them.
Highly recommend.
Before we dive into our final installment of the Greek Pantheon series, Madison, what was your magic moment?
My magic moment is that I'm currently wearing a sweater that I knitted with my own 2 hands.
Woo! And the crowd goes wild! Pew, 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 pew.
And I survived multiple what I thought would be project ending moments through the process of making this sweater, and I came out on top every single time.
It looks amazing.
Thank you. I'm obsessed with it. I've already started 2 other projects.
Classic.
A shawl and a pair of socks. I'm obsessed with knitting. I love it so much.
I love this for you.
Thank you. What was your magic moment this week?
My magic moment is that it finally feels like spring here in Maine.
Woohoo!
Whoa! It's slightly warm enough that I don't have to wear a giant jacket. It's sunny. The mud is mudding. Now, granted, I did hear a little rumor that we are going to get snow tomorrow, so I'm really feeling grateful for the spring today. But it's like, I feel like we've turned a corner, and now my favorite time of the year is coming, and my favorite time of the year is the time where it is between 60 and 72 degrees in Maine and slightly breezy. It's the best. I'm so excited. We are so close.
Do you think I'll be able to bring my sweater when I come to Maine in May?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. I think you will be cold.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, well, I want to wear my sweater.
Cute Madison wearing it for everything.
Literally. I'm like, you guys don't want to see my Ravelry and what I've got saved right now. It's like not.
See, I love this for you because my first 2 sweaters I crocheted, I can't wear them because I use the bulkiest yarn.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I look like, what's his name from A Christmas Story who can't put his arms down. And it's like too warm, but also it's a granny stitch. So it's also cold because there's holes in it. And so it just lives. It lives in my closet.
I'll send you a link to the yarn that I used for this sweater because it's so soft and so nice, and you can put it in the washing machine.
Okay, see, my problem is when it's thin yarn, like normal clothing yarn, it just takes forever to work up, so I lose the excitement about it.
This took me fully 6 weeks, and I like ignored anything that wasn't knitting.
I know. I am working on a crochet cardigan like vest sort of situation right now. I have been working on that for the last 2 months, so I need to just finish that and get the dopamine of like a project I can wear.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, shall we dive in?
Let's dive in. Okay, so today we are covering, I've got kind of like 2 main deities, main in quotation marks, and then I wanted to include some like quote unquote lesser gods and goddesses that I thought were important and interesting. So I've got some wild cards as well. But starting off, we've got Dionysus and Hestia. And then our wild cards are Nyx, Circe, Eos, and Pan.
Oh.
Very excited. These are kind of like all of the gods that kind of live on the edges or like the outskirts of Olympus. Maybe the ones that don't quite fit in.
Relatable.
Yeah. We've got some pre-Olympian forces with Nyx, Eos, and Pan. They all predate or exist outside the Olympian structure. They're not Zeus's subjects in like the traditional way.
Okay.
Then we've got kind of that like mortal divine threshold with Circe. She is technically a goddess, but she lives alone on an island completely separate from kind of all of the mess of the Olympians.
My dream.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Pan is kind of like that shadow to me. Anthony actually taught me a lot about Pan, but he's like the embodiment of wild instinct that often like societal structures will try to suppress. And then Dionysus I find really interesting because he's technically one of the 12 Olympians, but he's also like got this kind of foreign energy to him that we'll dive into with his mythology, but he's always the newcomer, kind of like this not like the others Olympian. So starting with that, with Dionysus, he's the god of wine, ecstasy, theater, madness, and sacred chaos. So Dionysus is kind of interesting. He's the god of wine. That's like his most famous thing. You'll often see him associated with like grapes, especially like in any of the statues that you'll find in a metaphysical store. He's almost always like holding grapes, eating grapes.
And amethyst too.
Really?
Yeah, because there's like a myth that Dionysus would put amethyst in goblets to help keep people from getting too drunk so they could drink more wine.
Yeah. Okay, I did know that. I learned that from you.
That's my one contribution to this series.
And we thank you for it. But really, he, more so than like the object of wine itself, he governs over that kind of like disillusion of ego that comes with drunkenness. So he's also the god of theater. So both the mask you wear and the face beneath it, ritual madness, and of the vine. So not just the grapes, but the plant itself. He's the only Olympian who was born twice. So his mother was a mortal princess named Semele, and she was tricked by Hera into asking Zeus to appear to her in his full divine form as like a form of revenge. Zeus, bound by his oath, did so, and the sight destroyed her. But Semele was pregnant, and Zeus saved the unborn Dionysus by sewing him into his own thigh until he was ready to be born.
Ew.
Yeah, not great. Dionysus then emerged from his father's body, utterly unlike anybody else. He's, born once from his mother. He's taken out of his mother, put into his father. I mean, name one other person who's born by leg. He's also the most widely traveled deity in Greek mythology. He wandered across Asia, Egypt, and all of the known world before arriving in Greece, bringing his worship with him. He's always like no matter the version of the story, he always has that like newcomer, foreigner energy. And kind of like disruption is usually what comes with it. He disrupts the natural order of how things are with Olympus, which was consistently threatening to Greek structures. So, quick and dirty mythology. As a young child, Dionysus was driven mad by Hera. She pursued him kind of similarly to how she pursues Hercules in the Hera episode. And through that madness, he wandered across the world through Asia, Egypt, India, and gathered followers, teaching the cultivation of wine and establishing his worship everywhere he went. He arrived in Greece as a returning god, and the tension kind of that comes with that is pretty central to his mythology. So Euripides' play is actually the central Dionysian myth, and very, very sad, honestly. He arrives in Thebes, his birthplace, to establish his worship. His cousin is the king of Thebes and refuses to acknowledge him and imprisons him. Dionysus escapes, and he drives the women of Thebes, including his cousin's mother, into a mad frenzy. He tricks his cousin into dressing as a woman to spy on those female-dominated rites.
Ew.
He's discovered, and the women tear him apart.
As they should.
With his mother leading the killing while in divine madness. She comes to herself holding her son's head, thinking it's a lion's.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Lee.
Devastating. Yeah. And that female-dominated rite, that group that his cousin's mother was a part of, was the Maenads, Maenads. They were the female followers of Dionysus who entered states of ritual ecstasy, running through the mountains, tearing animals apart with their bare hands, nursing wild animals, and experiencing visions.
Oof.
Yeah. That mania was understood as like being possessed by the divine. So the god moving through the human body, temporarily dissolving the boundary between mortal and Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I think is really important to talk about with Dionysus is that he's not like just the god of getting drunk. Like he kind of is, but not for the same reason through a modern lens. He's not the god of losing control. He's the god of releasing control. And I think that that's a really important distinction. It's not like mindless numbing that we can often associate with consumption of alcohol. It's the chosen release of expectation. But Dionysus unintegrated can show up as dependence on substances, escapism or using altered states to avoid reality rather than see it clearly, emotional flooding with no container, or the complete opposite, that total suppression of ecstasy, play, and abandon in fear of relentless control and productivity.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. It can kind of go in both directions.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny. Both of these gods, as I'm talking about drinking, but specifically with the theater, both of the like main Olympians I'm going to talk about today make me think of you. Because we've got theater and then Hestia is the home. And so I'm like, oh, this is just the Molly Donlin special.
Hey, you heard it here first, folks.
Signs Dionysus may be reaching out include a pull towards music, dance, or any practice that might make you lose track of time, ivy growing unexpectedly or appearing as a recurring symbol, grapevines, wine, or the color deep purple appearing with unusual frequency.
My favorite color.
Dreams of theater masks, festival, or wild nighttime celebrations. A creative project asking you to be looser, stranger, and less controlled, so not knitting. A growing exhaustion with your own performance, the mask feeling heavier than usual. Leopards or panthers appearing as symbols, those are sacred animals. The specific pull of a crowd in collective emotion, like a concert, a ceremony, or like any moment of shared feeling. Or a sense that something in you needs to be released before it releases itself. Ways to work with Dionysus include shadow integration, creative liberation, any permission to make work that is strange, excessive, or not yet understood, grief work, full, like unmanaged, fully embodied grief, ecstatic practice, dance, breathwork, music, working with addiction or compulsive patterns, theater, performance, and the magic of the mask, both wearing it and removing it, ritual altered states, including the altered state of deep meditation, and reclaiming pleasure and play as sacred. So, to approach him, Dionysus doesn't respond particularly well to rigid or structured ritual. That's kind of like antithetical to his energy. He responds to spontaneity, genuine emotion, and the willingness to be surprised. Put on music and move, pour wine and speak about what you've been holding, or make something messy. Cry if you need to, laugh if that comes instead. The most Dionysian ritual is the one that doesn't go according to plan.
Yeah, that's so me.
Offerings for him include wine, grapes, figs, or honey, ivy and pine, music played or danced to, theater, watching or making something that moves you, deep purple or black candles, and something that you've been holding back expressed. So you could have a difficult conversation as an offering to Dionysus. His correspondences include amethyst, purple fluorite, black tourmaline, and garnet. The colors purple, burgundy, black, ivy green, and gold. Grapevines, ivy, pine, figs, fennel. Leopards, panthers, bulls, serpent, dolphins, and goats. The planet Jupiter and Neptune, and then Thursday and Friday, and the number 7. Okay. Next we've got Hestia, goddess of the hearth, the sacred flame, home, and the power of stillness. Hestia is kind of the most overlooked deity in the Greek pantheon. She's the goddess of the hearth, the home, and like the flame that's at the center of every house and every city. She appears in almost no myths. She has no adventures, no like dramatic affairs or confrontations. She literally just tends the fire. That's her job.
Love that for her.
Mm-hmm. So I actually misspoke. I don't remember what episode it was in. I think it was maybe the Underworld episode. I said Hades was the oldest. I meant to say that he was the oldest of the brothers because Hestia was actually the firstborn and lastborn child of Kronos and Rhea. She was the first swallowed and the last regurgitated. So she's both the eldest and like the most, and she experienced the longest captivity inside her dad. Gross. Never forget. Boo. So when Dionysus arrived on Olympus and was given a place among the 12, Hestia is the one who stepped aside and gave him her seat. And so in some tellings of the myth, that's like she got fired or demoted. And in some tellings, it was like a willing step down. I would like to be separate from this. I don't want the throne. I like the idea that she stepped aside and was like, hey, this is not for me. I don't give a fuck about this power.
Yeah.
But she stepped aside and went to tend the central fire. She also is another goddess who, like Artemis, asked Zeus for eternal virginity.
Okay.
Poseidon and Apollo both pursued her as a potential wife, but she went to Zeus, touched his head, and made her vow. She said, please, I don't want any of this.
No men for me, thank you.
No men for me, thank you. I just would like to be at home. Which,
this is so relatable.
Girl, tell me about it. I would love nothing more than my only job to just to tend my home, to just knit a sock.
Knit a sock.
And that's what I think is so interesting about her too, is like when I'm researching her mythology, there's not much else.
Unproblematic queen.
Unproblematic queen. She stays offline. She's private, not, what is this phrase? Private, not secret.
Oh.
She's private, not secret. But she's also like kind of the most important because every Greek home had a hearth fire sacred to Hestia. It was lit during marriage ceremonies and carried to a new home when a family moved. Every public building, every city had a public hearth where Hestia's flame burned continuously. And when Greek colonists founded a new city, they carried fire from the mother city's hearth to light at the new one.
Oh.
So she's like the thread of continuity that connects all of these places through the hearth.
Yeah. She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, she's our unproblematic queen. We have no choice but to stand. But Hestia unintegrated can show up as retreat from the world as avoidance rather than genuine rest, over attachment to the home as a way of avoiding growth, or defining yourself entirely through your role as the one who keeps everything running. So I think a lot of like the ways that women are socialized in the world can benefit from some integration of Hestia energy, because that like out of balance is very on par with like what I see a lot of women
totally
have to experience. So some signs Hestia might be reaching out: a candle flame catching your attention with unusual intensity, a deep bone level exhaustion that is asking for genuine rest, a pull towards your home, wanting to be in it, tend it, make it more itself, cooking or cleaning, arriving as something that feels nourishing rather than an obligation. Dreams of fire, hearths, or being warmly, safely contained. A desire to simplify, to have less, need less, and tend what you already have more carefully. Any, like, the specific grief that surrounds not having a home that felt safe and longing for one, creating one. A sense that something in your life needs a center. Feeling called to create ritual around the ordinary. Morning, meals, the threshold of your door. Any sort of, like, the things that you interact with every day. And the quiet knowledge that you have been everywhere but home, and that home is what you need. Demystify magic is an offering to Hestia, I think.
Yeah. I'm like so relatable.
I know. It's like everything that we practice and preach. So, ways to work with Hestia include creating sacred space, prioritizing rest and recovery, grounding after intense spiritual work or big life changes, hearth work and kitchen witchcraft, any kind of like cooking or baking as devotion, creating a sense of home when you don't have one or maybe have lost one. I think that this is especially, like, I was thinking about all the travel that we both do
Yeah.
and how that can be so dysregulating. And the idea of like bringing something small from home
Yeah.
when you travel as a way to bring
Bringing
that
a hearth.
Yeah, like bring that energy of Hestia so you can create home wherever you go. That's an important part of her energy as well, is that it's not really tied to a specific place. That's what I think is so cool about like the hearth moves with the people when they move. It's the epitome of you are the magic, right? Like that homecoming feeling is not tied to those four walls. It's tied to you and the energy and the tending that you give to your hearth.
Yeah, it's like your ability to make home wherever you are.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I saw her, like, even though she's this very, like, homebody goddess, I feel like I would call on her the most when I'm away from home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, Hestia is approached through the act of tending. So, lighting a candle and sitting with it quietly, maybe cooking something with care and eating it slowly, cleaning a space in your home, not because it, like, really needs to be done, but more so as an act of devotion to the space that gives you that sense of home.
Mm-hmm.
Make your bed, fill a glass of water. Those are Hestia rituals. Offerings for her might include a candle lit and tended, the first and last portion of a meal that's like an ancient practice, fresh bread or simple baked goods, clean fresh water, a clean tended space, simply silence, white and gold candles, or hearth ash if you have a fireplace.
Mm.
Or like if you have a bonfire, collecting some of those ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Correspondences include fire opal, hearthstone, which is like, or like any warm toned stone, carnelian, amber, red jasper, the colors white, gold, warm orange, and red, chamomile and rosemary, pigs and donkeys, circles, kettles, the symbol of like a little like a drawing of a house.
Mm-hmm.
She has her own asteroid called Vesta.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. And the number 1. Now, let's move on to our wild cards.
Wild cards of the Greek Pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
That was my theme song for you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Nyx is the goddess of night. She's one of the oldest beings in the Greek cosmos. She was born from chaos itself at the very beginning, before the Olympians, before the Titans, and before like pretty much everything. She's the goddess of the night, and she is so ancient and so powerful that even Zeus leaves her the fuck alone.
Yeah, as he should.
Mm-hmm. In the Iliad, when her son Hypnos needs to hide from Zeus, he goes to Nyx, and Zeus goes looking for him but backs down rather than upset her. She has many children, and they are like basically the full catalog of what darkness can carry. So we've got Hypnos, sleep. She's the mother of Thanatos, the god of death. Onoroi, again, I apologize for my pronunciation of these words. There's a lot of them. I fear I would never have gotten through this series if I looked them all up. And so I just had to go with God, had to go with goddess of night, Nyx. So we've got Onoroi, dreams, nemesis, retribution, the fates, the Moirai, Eris, goddess of strife, Moros, doom, the Caries, violent death spirits, Oizys, Oizys, misery, Apate, deception, Philotes, affection, Geras, old age, and Charon, the ferryman of the dead.
Jeez.
Yeah. She's the original trad wife, I fear. Ballerina farming got nothing on Nyx. But Nyx really appears like directly in a myth. She's more of like a primordial force than a main character. But she's kind of like a side character in a lot of stories. She's one of the first beings, this like great black-winged goddess who laid the silver egg from which the cosmos hatched.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She's cool. I talked in the Underworld episode about the book Hecate by Nikita Gill. Nyx is a character in that book, and she will be the main character of the next book in that series. I'm really, really excited about it. Highly, highly recommend that book, Hecate. Gotta bring it back to that because it's so fucking good. The audiobook especially. You should listen to it while you crochet because it is incredible.
Okay, I'm on it.
I know it's early, but it's like I already can tell it's my favorite book of 2026.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe I read it in 2025, though. Time isn't real.
It's not real.
Signs Nyx might be reaching out include the night feeling charged and alive rather than like, just dark and ready for bedtime. An unusual richness in your dreams. Stars catching your attention with unusual intensity. Owls or bats appearing as recurring symbols. A pull towards a nighttime practice. If you start to feel peaceful in those moments where you're awake and everyone else in the house is asleep. And being called to sit with darkness rather than fill it with light or noise. How to work with Nyx. Dream work and lucid dreaming. Shadow work. Night magic and dark moon practice. Rest as sacred practice. Really honoring your sleep and treating it like something holy. Working with ancestors, as her children include Charon and Thanatos.
Mm-hmm.
And any practice done after dark. Correspondences include black moonstone, obsidian, labradorite, star sapphire, and jet. The colors black, midnight blue, deep purple, and silver. Offerings might include black candles, silver objects, or writing out your dreams. And she's especially associated with the nighttime, the new moon, and the hours between midnight and dawn. Next, we've got Circe, another book. I haven't read this one, but there is a book, Circe, that I've heard is very good, but I've also heard it's very sad, which is why I won't read it. I can't be told that something's devastating. I just downloaded Sunrise on the Reaping, the audiobook, and I started it. And I made it through like maybe 10 minutes, and then I just like knew where we were going, and I was like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, that one is not one I would recommend if you're trying to avoid devastating.
Yeah. Anyways, Circe. She's technically a goddess. She's the daughter of Helios and oceanid nymph named Perse, I think is how you say it, Perse.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually Hecate's niece, but she lives alone on an island of, it's like actually becoming like these words. How would you pronounce Aeaea?
Oh, dude. Okay. Yeah. So that is a place in the part of Neon God series that I'm in, and I just pronounce it mentally as A.
It's just is like, I reached a point very early in this series where I was like, I can't keep Googling. Like, I will never
they all
make
blend
it through.
Together at some point.
And I just have to accept that I'm never going to get this right.
We could just call it A.
A. She lives on the island of A.
A.
I'm really sorry if this is offensive to the Greek Pantheon. I just am struggling so much. And it's like, even when I do look them up, I can't remember because there's so many.
There's so many. Yeah.
Anyways, she lives on this island by herself, practicing magic, tending her herbs, and my favorite thing, turning men who threaten her into pigs.
I love her.
Mm-hmm. We love her. Her primary appearance is in the Odyssey. Odysseus's men arrive on her island, eat her food, drink her wine, and then when she discovers him, they are transformed into pigs. Odysseus, though, is protected by an herb that Hermes gives him called moly. He resists her magic, draws his sword, and then she was like, oh, you are my peer, you're my equal because you didn't get turned into a pig. Queen shit.
Yeah.
She restores his men and keeps Odysseus on her island for a year. When he prepares to leave, she gives him crucial instructions for navigating the rest of his journey, like how to pass the sirens, how to avoid any characters that he might not want to interact with, and how to visit the underworld. So, some signs Circe might be reaching out include a sudden, passionate interest in herbalism, plant medicine, or kitchen witchcraft. Hawks appearing as a recurring symbol. Her name might come from the Greek word for hawk. A pull towards solitude, the desire to be on your own island.
Yeah.
A creative or magical project that requires you to work alone. The specific anger of being underestimated by people who later need what you know. Dreams of transformation, like you or others becoming animals or plants. And feeling called to study plants, potions, or the chemistry of the natural world. Ways to work with Circe include herbalism and plant magic, kitchen witchcraft, transformation magic, solitary practice of any kind, protection work from those who might arrive with bad intentions, and reclaiming power that has been dismissed or overlooked.
I love Circe.
We stan. Her correspondences include malachite, green tourmaline, serpentine, and moss agate. The colors green, gold for her father Helios, and amber. And the dawn, the dusk, and any kind of like changing light. Offerings for her might include herbs, handmade potions or tinctures, or something you grew. Okay. Next we've got Eos, the goddess of dawn. So Eos is the sister of Helios.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one who opens the gates of heaven each morning so that Helios can drive his chariot across the sky.
Okay.
Because he brings the sun.
Aww.
She's like very poetically described. Homer calls her rosy-fingered, which I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But it sounds nice. You know, like you hear it and you're like, ooh. Rosy-fingered. I know. What I love about Eos is that she has quite the appetite for mortal men. She's more love affairs with mortals than almost any other deity. Some of her side pieces include Orion, Tithonus, Cephalus, and Cleidius. Most of these myths involve her falling genuinely in love, and in the case of Tithonus, the devastating consequences of not being clear in your requests.
Oh.
She asks Zeus to grant him eternal life, but forgets to ask for eternal youth. So he ages endlessly.
Oh.
Until all that's left of him is a voice, which she transformed into a cicada.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so you can't be mad when you hear those little sounds anymore, because it's just a sad, sad, old man.
Is that why I hear them more in Florida than anywhere else?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. So again, like very human, you know, like she loves,
yeah,
she makes mistake,
sad.
She grieves, she falls in love again.
Mm-hmm.
We stan again.
Mm-hmm.
So some signs that Eos might be reaching out are feeling like an emotional attachment to the dawn, a pull towards a morning practice, waking up early and like sitting with that energy, pink and gold light appearing in dreams or meditation, a new beginning presenting itself, cicadas appearing as a symbol, and a sense of perpetual optimism that keeps returning no matter how difficult things get. That might be that Eos energy going, hey, it's going to be okay. You're going to fall in love again. Ways to work with Eos include calling on her during new beginnings, participating in morning rituals, perpetual hope in the practice of beginning again, and any kind of like liminal time magic. So I feel like the dawn is very attached to this, like it's similar to a threshold, right? In the way that Hecate is the goddess of the threshold. Eos has that energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Nyx, kind of with the dusk, where it's like transition magic.
Yeah, right. Crossroads again.
Correspondences include rose quartz, sunstone, pink calcite, and topaz. The colors, any kind of like rosy pink, yellow, white, and gold. And then the dawn, obviously. Offerings include fresh water left out at dawn, flowers opened in the morning, or like your first cup of coffee would be a really good offering for her. You know, pour one out for my girl Eos.
I'm not pouring out my coffee.
You make one for her too, you know?
Oh,
but she gets the first one, is the idea.
Fine.
Okay. Last, but certainly not least, we've got Pan. Pan is the god of the wilderness, shepherds, flocks, rustic music, and the wild. He's got goat legs, horns, a bearded face, and erotic energy.
Oh. Ow, ow.
This is why Anthony has a statue of Pan in his house. He's the son of Hermes in most versions and a nymph.
Yep, that makes sense.
Born so strange looking that his mother fled in terror when she saw him.
Aww.
Hermes, though, was delighted. Wrapped him in a hareskin and carried him to Olympus to show the gods, who laughed with joy. He was named Pan, the word for all, because he brought joy to all of them.
Oh.
Right? You know, you could be the juiciest peach in the basket, and there's always going to be someone that doesn't like peaches.
Yeah.
You could be the silliest little half-goat man, in all of the Greece. And there's still going to be someone who's afraid of silly little goat men. Okay. He lives in Arcadia in the mountains and forests playing his panpipes. They're called the Syrinx, which is named for the nymph Syrinx, who is transformed into reeds to escape him. Which, you know, of course, can we get a man that is not running through the woods trying to catch a woman?
Yeah, truly.
In the Greek Pantheon? Just curious. Is there a
Just
single man who
curious.
doesn't chase somebody in the fucking woods? Whatever. He's also the origin of the word panic.
Oh, what? Wait, what?
It's the terror of Pan, the irrational, overwhelming fear that arises when you encounter something too wild, too large, or too real to process. Like that fear that his mother had. She panicked.
Oh.
He is said to have caused like the tides to change in battle by sending sudden, inexplicable terror through the enemy ranks.
He caused everyone to panic.
Panic and ecstasy are the two sides of Pan's coin. The terror of encountering something that scares you, and the ecstasy of getting comfortable with that thing that might scare you are the same.
Ooh.
It's the same physiological response, right? How anxiety and excitement are the same feeling in our bodies.
Yeah.
Pan rules both of those domains.
Oh, I like Pan.
Signs Pan may be reaching out include really feeling drawn to the forest or like any kind of like wild wilderness place. Flute or pipe music catching your attention, goats appearing as a symbol, panic attacks or anxiety with no clear external cause, could be his energy asking to be acknowledged, a pull towards wild, uncultivated, unmaintained landscapes, dreams of pursuit through forests or being caught in wild places at night. Ways to work with Pan might be connecting with wilderness, working with panic and anxiety as messages rather than problems to solve. He's a great person to call on to make peace with anxiety. Music as a spiritual practice, especially wind instruments and improvisational playing.
Ooh.
Reclaiming your own wildness and instinct, and shadow work around what your nervous system might feel some fear around. Some correspondences include moss agate, green jasper, smoky quartz, and petrified wood, forest green, brown, and gold. Noon is his sacred hour. Offerings include any kind of music played outdoors, food left in the forest, or pine cones.
Ooh, interesting. Because pine cones are a symbol of intuition. It's like being able to see beyond the panic.
Our Beltane ritual, we're going to be making wands with pine cones at Spellcrafter. I'm very excited about it. And I really like that association with him for Beltane as well, because Beltane is like a very erotic Sabbath. It like has that sexy energy. And so I like that like overlap there. So I'm curious, throughout the whole series, I'll ask you, who in this episode do you feel most drawn to?
What was the second one?
Hestia.
The hearth one. Hestia.
And then
Definitely Hestia.
Who out of the series did you feel most drawn to?
Hermes.
Yeah. Were there any that really surprised you that you were interested in?
I don't know. I don't know if I was surprised. I went in with zero expectations because I really know nothing. I don't know. I also feel drawn to like Dionysus, which I didn't really expect to feel drawn to, because like the whole wine thing, I'm like, not for me.
Yeah.
But I do like that, like the side of almost like letting go of the mask. Feels very me.
Yeah, I think Dionysus is one of those who is often kind of like Hera, really like boiled down to the most exaggerated version of himself, where it's like this drunkard.
Yeah.
Where it's really not about the alcohol. It's about the act of releasing inhibitions.
Right.
Where like that's the most common and like well socially understood method to release control.
Right.
And so that's the lens that I think we look at it through. Whereas really it can be any sort of release. Like it could just be the decision to release expectation and to just be like be a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
Be a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I think I was really surprised in the way that I left feeling my research about all of the men.
Mm.
I think we all kind of know this to be true about me at this point, that I can be a little bit of a misandrist. And so I definitely like fell into, and I mean, with good reason, like, again, where are the men who are not chasing women through the woods? Let me know.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think I can give a lot more grace to the women, the female gods, the goddesses, is that word for that, than I can for the men. You know, like Hera punishes the women that her husband has affairs with rather than punishing her husband. I give her grace there.
Right.
And not that I like think that they're great people, but learning more about like that father wound that exists in a lot of those male deities.
Right. Right.
And when I read about their origin stories, I'm like, no wonder you're fucked up.
Right. Yeah.
Not that it's an excuse, but I can like have a more well-rounded view of them that I would feel comfortable calling on some of them more than I think I would have before.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas like I think before I started reading for this series, I was like a goddess only girly. Like I don't want any male energy in my space. And I think a lot of that is like how I feel about religion in general. Like all of the main religions, the god is a man, and I really don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
But I think the way that I've come to accept deity work through my own practice is very like separate from the idea of worship.
Right.
And so now that I think that I feel more comfortable with that, I could feel more comfortable bringing in that kind of male energy.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I like that distinction of like deity working is not worship. I think this question came up in the Patreon, and the way that I kind of think about it is when I'm working with Hermes, for example, I'm not like, oh, Hermes, you have all the answers. No, it's more so like I'm calling in the energy of Hermes to support me. At least for me. That's how I kind of see it. It's less about the individual Hermes and more about the energy that Hermes represents. Calling that into my practice rather than like worshiping or saying like Hermes has all the answers.
Yeah, I think like it also is very personal. Like, and there are some only goddesses that I have a lot more reverence for. Like my relationship with Hecate is a little bit closer to worship.
Yeah.
Than it would be, I think, for like Hermes or Poseidon or, you know, whoever. But I see deity work kind of in the way that I see any relationship with any other energy, whether it be like a spirit or a guide or, you know, a friend, whatever. It's building a relationship of like, it's like phone a friend, right?
Yeah.
If I called you and said, can you help me with this task? I'll buy you a coffee. It's the same thing as deity. Can you help me with this task? I'll leave you some water. I'll dance under the moonlight. I'll, you know, like I'll lean into your energy and give you something. It's the same thing rather than like, I'm, you know, tithing to you. I'm giving you this because you're better than me.
Right.
And for some people, it is more of like a worship relationship. And I think that that's fine too. But I know that the biggest question that I run into, especially in the store, when it comes to deity stuff is how do I parse through all of my religious trauma?
Right.
I don't want to have any gods in my life. And that's totally fair as well. Like if you're just interested in learning about these energies, that's great too. Like this is not a endorsement for any kind of practice. I think that it's all very, very personal. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that it doesn't have to be one certain way. That's what I love about these ancient deities, is that there's no church of Dionysus down the street telling me what to do. You know, that I have to go to and you tell me how I best be a servant of this energy, you know, like
right.
It just gets to be whatever you need it to be.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's a wrap. I know that there are a lot of deities that I didn't touch on. There are a bajillion of them. So if you guys leave your requests in the comments, maybe sometime soon I can put together another little like
rapid fire lightning round.
Yes, like a lightning
gods
round
of Olympus.
We could put together a little lightning round situation of everybody.
A Zeus round.
A Zeus round.
The lightning.
Get it? We could put together a little Zeus round of everybody that I missed that you guys want to hear more about. Let me know in the comments and let us know what other pantheons you might want me to do a deep dive on, because I loved doing this. I would love to talk about the Norse gods. I would love to talk about the Celtic gods. Somebody asked for the archangels. I'm into that. So let me know.
Into it. Did we do it?
I think we did it. I hope you guys enjoyed.
We've got all the notes in the Patreon.
Oh. I fully made like an extra Patreon bonus that I forgot about.
Oh.
I forgot to promo here. I made a Pantheon spread, either a tarot or an oracle spread, designed to go along with the series. It's 7 cards to help you maybe connect to one of the energies that we talked about.
Oh, fun. We'll throw that in the clubhouse too.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. All our links, from spells to ceremonies to ways to support us, are waiting in the show notes.
We'd love to hear your magic moment of the week. Share it in a review, tag us on socials, or bring it to our Patreon clubhouse at demystifymagic.com.
And remember, you are the magic.
Okay, love you.
Bye.